What is good? We're back. We're live talking preseason week 2 or 3, whatever you want to call this.
Yeah, got them all mixed up now.
Semantics at this point. How you doing, Big Co?
Doing good, man. Week 2, week 3. I don't know what week it is, but I know we're not far at all from actual real football. And got to say, man, I know it's first teamers against people that are about to get cut and second teamers against third teamers and all this stuff, but still fun. Preseason's still fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun to see everybody going at it, playing all that stuff. Get you jacked up.
Yeah,
get you excited.
Mess around, catch a ball game where the whole team, like, they got their ones on. You know, they got their whole set of ones out there. It's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're just watch the Bengals and the Commanders get after it for a little bit there with the ones. Joe goes right down and scores. Then the Commanders don't throw a pass and score. You know, Debo breaks one off.
Did you see Skinny Debo?
Chris Rodriguez is out there averaging 23 yards a touch.
Yeah.
That's and obviously, the big news kind of right now surrounding that game is Brian Robinson not playing. Obviously, Terry McLaurin not in the building either, but Brian Robinson not there. So very odd to me without being inside the building and the circle for the B-Rob thing. Jakrosky Merritt scored a touchdown. Now, I'm sure nobody will overreact to it. Like I said, Chris Rodriguez is running out there, like a maniac. It was a nice cut by Jakrosky Merritt, but great blocking. And then, went and scampered into the end zone for a 27-yard score, right?
Looks fast doing it.
Yeah. I mean, was a good productive player in college. Had a little issue his final year there, so didn't get to really see him here. So they I would say a diamond in the rough, but it really wasn't a diamond in the rough. He was always a good player. Just they took the good calculated shot on already a good player, right? So which is why we had kind of been kicking him around for a while over here, just on the back end of the late round stuff, and now it's starting to come to fruition, right? So it's super
a lot faster than anybody thought.
Right. We've got rookie drafts going on right now, so we'll see kind of what the impact of that is. We've seen this in our home leagues 100 times about Dameon Pierce getting late first round draft capital in some home leagues after that great preseason, right? And we might see a little bit of ghost of Dameon Pierce this year. Who knows? They seem to like him a little bit down there with the new regime. But the whole B-Rob thing is kind of weird. It seems weird to me. I don't really understand it unless there's something internal in the building saying, "Hey, I want a contract. I want a chance to be the guy here," and it doesn't look like I'm going to get that chance. Other than that, I don't understand why. You're a good team. He's not a game breaker, and you're not going to get anything for him. So you're just doing him a service, like. That's what's that, a 7th round pick? Like, it doesn't really make that much sense to me, especially when how quickly that running back room can be looking around going, man, we need to sign some guys off the street.
That's right. I saw somebody on Twitter today trying to rationalize why Brian Robinson doesn't help him win a Super Bowl. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like, maybe he's not the straw that breaks the camel's back and helps him win the Super Bowl, but he's a very solid running back. And last year, if you want to say the lanes were wide open because the defense was trying to figure out what was going on with Jaden Daniels, that's fine. But B-Rob did some decent stuff out there, and you would imagine that there's a next level to the offense. And if it's Jakrosky Merritt, that's great too. It's got to be this trade stuff. Nobody's giving like a 4th round pick for Brian Robinson tonight, right? So like the only thing it's got to be is he's behind closed doors somewhere. He's like, hey, I can be a bell cow. I need the rock. And you got Austin Eckler over here taking some of my touches, which I understand because he's a really good back. And somehow that little man is a bell cow too. And then Jakrosky Merritt is, coming around and everybody wants him to be the man. Like there's got to be turmoil back there somewhere for this trade to be going on. If not, why not? Yeah, hey, we just drafted this guy, but we can't put him back on the bench. He's too good, right?
Right.
So like if that's like it's happened plenty of times before. So if Merritt is that good and he just plays ahead of B-Rob's got to take it and sit down and wait his turn. Or if he, if that's because these guys they just beat the Lions at home in the playoffs last year, and they have Super Bowl aspirations, and nobody's paying enough to justify trading away B-Rob if he's not being bad in the locker room.
That's the strange
he's
part.
Gotta
it's not
be,
like he's like a crazy contract where it's like, hey, we're running up against it. We need to get something for him.
Exactly.
Shout out. What's up, Sean? What's up, iDub? What's up, Happen? Like he liked the startup video today, FFPC. So like to hear that. We're going to talk some Olli Gordon, and we're jumping right in here talking the B-Rob stuff here, Sean. So, if Jakrowski had Dougie Fresh with a little JCM in there, he was early to the party on the JCM. Shout out to Doug there.
Yeah, hell yeah, Doug.
So if B-Rob, I don't know if it's even an if at this point. Like if he's not there, like I feel like it's at this point, if they don't trade him, it almost seems like it's going to be a cut, right? Like I don't see this situation putting it back in the bottle, right?
That pretty much answers if it's got it's B-Rob's in the back pounding on the table being like, yo, I can be a bell cow. This ain't, I don't want to be part of a 3-way committee. And Chris Rodriguez has always looked pretty decent.
And he wants to get paid. I think that's a big part. Like he was like, hey, let me get a spot where I could maybe get a contract right now, right? Could I go get a little bit more featured? So maybe I could go get, maybe it's not y'all, but like somebody could pay me. So if that's the case, I can understand that a little bit. But man, like there's really not that many options out there and nobody's going to pay anything. And, at this point, like if you're saying we're shopping this guy, they know nobody's going to pay. Like if you're going to, I just feel like you're like, we'll cut him and we'll sign him then, I mean, it's basically Dallas. And I mean, maybe I guess the Bears maybe, but like, I don't know. It's almost like you're going to have an injury.
Maybe the Texans
potentially. But I mean, if they feel like they're comfortable with Chubb and Pierce and Woody and they'll get Mixon back, then maybe not right this minute, So just an odd situation, but let's fast forward, say Brian B-Rob's out of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that land? We're in home league drafts right now. We're in like the middle of the second round. I could pretty much tell you right now that the guy on the clock is sitting there. He said he wanted to see what was happening tonight. So to me, there's really only two questions needing to be answered. Are you taking your boy Chase Brown's backup right now at 2.8 and it's non super flex item premium, or do you want to see if you need to take Jacoby Crosby-Merritt right here, right? And so would you, where are you at that point with we'll start referring to him as Bill, as he likes to be called, or JCM. So where would that land you rookie draft wise, and then overall, what are your aspirations for Bill JCM?
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I was excited about Brian Robinson coming into the year, because when you look at somebody like Jaden Daniels and everything that he and Cliff Kingsbury got together on last year as just a rookie, like that's why I was excited about B-Rob, just because of the things that he could do. So, it makes it easier sledding for the running back when the quarterback is that talented with his legs and his arm. We don't have to, there's a reason why everybody fell in love with Jaden Daniels so quickly last year, because we don't have many guys that act like he does. As poised and as calm as he was to throw a touchdown pass or a first down pass on 3rd and long and give you the legs and use both at the same time and stretch out a play. And he was just way better than I thought it was going to be. Hats off, right? So that just makes things so much easier for the running back. So if that's going to be Merritt, if that's going to be Bill, but let's not pretend like for Dynasty, yes, in a rookie draft, we need to look at here and say, all right, where's he going around here? Super flex or whatever you're going to go, does Jaden Higgins need to be off the board? Does Scatterbo need to be off the board? Does Trey Harris need to be off the board? But like, maybe not some of those names but you have to know that even if he's doing work, like, Eckler's a stud. I know Eckler's not young, but Eckler's a stud, and he plays this. Bill Merritt's not coming in here and getting all the 2-minute work, 4-minute work, all that stuff. I mean, maybe 4-minute work if that's 4-minute and you're leading and you need to hammer the defense and get some first downs. But like, also they did have Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson on the field quite a bit last year. I mean, Bill can score some fantasy points in bunches. I think it's a good offense to do it. So, maybe I'm looking at a rookie draft board right now. I mean, you putting him ahead of Kyle Williams. You putting him ahead of Tootin.
I'll take Kyle Williams still. He's definitely ahead of Tootin. Probably even if not leading around Scatabo, I would say for me. And because I'm a little lower on Scatabo as far as I like the player, just lower on where I'm willing to take him. It has nothing, I'm not ready to be first round Scatabo guy.
Well, I finally got you on Tyrone Tracy last year, and you haven't let up. So that's why you're a little bit lower.
No, I always liked Tracy. I just wasn't ready to just be like, yeah, he's just kind of come in here and take the job. And then took an injury, and then he was good, right?
But Bill Merritt is going to stay behind Luther Burden and Matthew Golden in rookie drafts. And our rookie draft that we have going on right now in our home league, these guys were already off the board before tonight's game. But yes, the guy that's on the clock right now did say, "Hey guys, I'm not picking yet," and we all figured that it was because he might want to take Bill. I don't think he's made a pick yet since this thing's taking off here. But I mean, you taking Trey Harris over Merritt?
Yes.
Yeah. Taking Jaden Higgins over Merritt?
Yes.
All right. So we're and you said Kyle Williams. So we got through some of the good bigger names and get into that mid-second round dart throw area. Basically kind of flip a coin. If you like Scatabo, if you're a Scatabo guy, if you're a Merritt guy, if you're a Tootin guy, kind of in that range. But you put the first round wide receiver Golden up there, Jaden Higgins up there, Trey Harris up there.
Yeah, I mean all the big prospects that we have gone through all the trials and tribulations with, and we know a lot about, and we're pretty comfortable with their situations. At the end of the day, we can majority of people can pretend they know a single thing about Jacoby Krosky Merritt. You don't. You really don't know.
Yes, absolutely
right.
Not.
You're the camp hype is exciting. That's cool. Now, is it going to be Dameon Pierce, or is it going to be for real? And that's right. Kind of where you're at right now. The situation is much better than Dameon Pierce's at that point. And I think I'm just using him because he was the last really big riser from nothing through a preseason, right? And we hadn't even really seen a whole lot of Merritt, really. Just a lot of good camp hype, a lot of good love, and now this whole thing with Brian Robinson. So it's got to hold some weight. It's got to hold some water. You got to be
the biggest. Yes, I think the situation. If he's the 1B on a team not as exciting as Washington, that would be different, right?
Yeah.
But if now he's on a team that could be top 5 in scoring, that's where your weight. That's where it's got to hold some weight. Definitely comes more into play, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago we played the game with Merritt, and we played the trade game, and you'd buy him for a couple threes. I said I'd give him 2 threes, and then we said we'd take a second round pick for him. That was a couple weeks ago. The first thing we said when we started this was that this is happening a whole lot faster than anybody, even the truthers of the truthers, the first ones to the JCM, hype train. Nobody thought that Brian Robinson was going to get cut or traded before the season started, right? Yeah. So now, obviously, we're just talked him into. He's already a mid to high second round draft pick in a rookie draft right now tonight, and Brian Robinson's still on the team. But it sounds like that's a foregone conclusion that he's not going to be on the team. Like you said, it's almost too far to take that back. Yeah. So yeah,
Jalen Milroe or Merritt.
That's a good. If I got quarterback problems,
I know you like Milroe.
I'm a Milroe guy. I'm the upside of Milroe. I played that game multiple times with some of these other upside quarterbacks, and it hasn't bitten me too bad. And especially it's context. I got a whole bunch of teams with Sam Darnold, and he moves over to Seattle, and you lose the KOC connection with Minnesota. And it's like, there's a lot of things I like about Seattle and Sam Darnold, but then to be able to throw Jalen Milroe on some of those teams, that's really, really nice comfort level for me. to have that backup if something goes wrong, and or they split up and they're Jalen Milroe's the starter for Seattle in 2 years, and to really no fault of Sam Darnold. Milroe was so good you couldn't get him off the field. Darnold rolls his ankle in week 8, and Milroe wins 7 games in a row, and now Sam Darnold's on another team. It's not impossible. So it's hard for me not to take Milroe in a super flex if I have quarterback issues. But outside of that, I don't think anybody else in that second round would keep me from taking Bill at this point.
Yeah,
that was a good call on Jalen Milroe because you knew I was going to have to, plant my flag there.
Gonna needed a wind up there. It's certainly interesting. It's certainly a lot of fun. The late rookie drafts are my favorite way to play it, and it's going to be real interesting to see. This week we're going to do some rookie rankings, so we'll see where our final rookie ranking sort of, and we'll kind of see where he ends up, and we'll do another rookie mock and kind of see where he ends up. So a lot of fun with the JCM over the next couple of weeks, and whether to cash in on the value or to hold on tight and be excited about it. That's always the dance here of kind of what to do. And now we've got a fun late round running back who is in an awesome situation, and by all accounts and purposes is a very solid running back coming into here. Just had some, eligibility issues.
Definitely raises the stock of the middle of the second round. Early second round draft picks just got a little. There's one more block there. There's one more block that people want.
So right? One more interesting piece.
If you're sitting there at 270, you're like, I was never going to get Trey Harris. I'm never going to get I'm never getting Tootin. Like, just one more person shoots up in there, and you're like, oh wow, this is that much more fun now.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm intrigued. I'm right there with you. Sometimes I would thwart these away and be like, I don't know. I mean, but solid player, solid opportunity. So we shall see. All right, let's keep it moving. Next thing on the docket was what I was going to lead with until, we had all this kind of going down in the game. But I found yesterday's Caleb performance real and spectacular. And what really did it for me was I waited last night, nothing on the social medias. I woke up this morning, nothing on the social medias. Damn near all day today, nothing on the social medias. The silence is deafening right now. And what the crazy thing is if it was the other way and he would have made a couple mistakes, sailed some balls, all day long, all it would have been is, oh, he's a bust, put in Bajent. Oh, they're going to be looking for a new quarterback next year. This ain't Ben Johnson's guy. What a mistake, yada, yada, yada. Instead, he comes out and just is absolutely electric, perfect. Like just everything you wanted to see Caleb be able to do. Now, it's preseason. The Bears probably care a whole lot more than the Bills at this point, at that particular juncture of that particular
38-0. There's no doubt about it. What team showed up, what team didn't.
But what you wanted to see was, hey, what we've heard over and over again is he can't play in script. He can't do this. He can't do that. And all he did last night was all the things that he wasn't supposed to be able to do.
There's no doubt about it. He read that script, Bo. They practiced that script. They scripted those plays. Those first 5, 6, 7 plays, they were ready. They probably practiced them 20 times. And each one of them, for sure, in that order, they're like, this is what we're going to do. We're bang, 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 bang. And but to your point of the Bills not caring, really, they had their backups in there. It was so much fun to see the Bears. You had Rome Odunze out there. You had DJ Moore out there. You had 2 tight ends out there. Colson Loveland, the brand new 10th overall draft pick. I mean, they had their ones on the field, and it was so cool to just see, all right, they got a full complement of weapons here. Obviously, they didn't bring any running back to the party. Some dude never heard of. I think I went to high school with that guy. But they were dialing it up, and Caleb Williams executed perfectly, flawlessly. It was, outside the Rome Odunze drop on 3rd down, if we could have had that one back, if we could have let that drive keep going and obviously just not have a drop for Rome, but that kid kept that the good times rolling, would have been sick there. But there was so much, everything like you just said, man. If Caleb would have been, if it would have been equally as bad, they would have buried him. If it would have been medium bad, they would have spent all night coming up with just playing the same 2 or 3 bad clips over and over like they're doing with Tyler Shuck right now because the guy got in his face and he stumbled a little bit. I know he made a couple of little, boneheaded looking plays, but like they would have been headhunting Caleb, just like you said. But I did see a couple guys here and there being like, oh, that was good. And I saw a couple of actual football guys, not like fantasy guys, that were like, that play was sick. And the ball to Kmet. I mean, that ball was out so fast to Kmet up the seam. The defense didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And just good anticipation on a bunch of throws. And that's kind of what you wanted to see. That's what got me excited. And those balls were coming out hot, fast, exactly where they needed to be, when they needed to be there, before breaks. So that was good to see. And then on top of that, you layer in, like, if we can get Caleb to play in structure, like then the ad lib part when needed, and the rushing around part when needed, is just a whole nother, dimension that you can, kind of layer on top of things. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as things go. And I think one thing people will forget really quickly was that, the last guy Ben Johnson had already been to a Super Bowl. He had already been in the league for a while. He had already been through McVay training camp. The fact that Jared Goff was able to take what everyone just thought he was dumb,
no doubt,
I did. And then
I punted Jared Goff as soon as they put him on Hard Knocks with the Rams, and he didn't know which east or west, which way the sun came up. Bro, yeah. I was out on Jared Goff so fast. Keep going.
Yeah, but that's just the thing, is like you got a pretty solid veteran, and the owner or the GM was already familiar with him. And so, they kind of bring him in, and he had already been, rode and put away wet, or, however you want to say
hard,
it.
put up wet. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And so, you're getting Caleb on his second go round when, he was in there watching film by himself on the first one. Right.
Yeah.
So, there's been bad what I think we tend to forget is that training camp is supposed to be bad and good. It's supposed to be a bunch of mixed up things. Like, everyone wanted to show the net thing over and over and over again. Well, the next clip is him putting it into the net 4 times in a row. Right. Yeah. And it's just, what narrative do you want to create? How do you like him? Do you not like him? A lot of people don't like him for whatever reason. If it's painting his fingernails, if it's because you don't like USC, or you don't, whatever it is. And Jaden Daniels did really well. So now everyone's got to be a comparison to whoever was in their draft class, right? Nobody can be a singular person. It has to be, the old comparison's the thief of joy. Like, why you got to put these guys against each other? Like, one guy went to what we didn't think was an optimal situation, and it was a way more optimal situation all of a sudden. Right. And so, I really enjoyed that. I love that the silence was kind of deafening on the Caleb stuff today. That was great to see. I'm sure there'll be plenty of times where people are right back to crushing him. But 2 things with other takeaways from that game: whoever is the Bears running back, Swift, Monungai, other, is going to crush Roshan, whatever. If that passing attack can look like that, and he can scheme up how it gets schemed up, right? Brian Robinson, Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, whoever you want to paint the picture there to.
Yeah.
It's just, if that can be anywhere near what you just saw out on that field, right? Of just the weapons, the offensive line, the presence, the patience, where the ball needs to go. Like, whoever the running back is, I am so in on for the Chicago Bears, right? I just watching that little bit last night, and was like you said, some guy that nobody's really ever heard of, like a backup at Texas, right? Is in there, and he just looks whatever. But I feel like I felt so confident and comfortable with whoever is going to be that running back in there. And you always wanted him, but it was always like, how much do we love Swift? How much, bro? I love Swift now. Give me all the Swift I can handle, and let me get the Monungais and the Roshans late. I think this is going to be awesome. So, whole lot less worry, I think, from really any of the Bears running backs. And I'm all in. I'll click all the buttons I got to for whatever they got going on there. So
yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be more. There's going to be tons of bumps and bruises along the way, but you'd see something like that Yes, preseason against the backups, probably a vanilla defense. I didn't go back and watch every play.
Of course.
I didn't go back every play to see if they had, if they were moving defensive chess pieces around, right? Like I wasn't sure. I just said, hey, the Bears are cruising right now. And if they can against when the defense knows what they're preparing for and what they're going against, and they're trying hard, and the Bears get a little better at what they're doing, if it can look like 70% of that,
right,
that's going to be fantasy gold for so much, right? It's not going to look that easy all the time, because that right there is like, that was like a Peyton Manning drive. It's not going to look like that all the time. We're not going to just all of a sudden. No. Caleb's not going to just all of a sudden be a Hall of Famer after a couple of weeks with Ben Johnson. But like you said, man, they have been getting. We live in a world right now, unfortunately, it is wildly narrative based on whatever personal vendetta you're against, and Caleb's been getting crushed, and that was awesome to see. But yes, the running back is going to slay. I think the running back could probably slay it at 50% of what we saw last night.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just there's playmakers, right? Yes, we talk about we talk in fantasy, especially in fantasy football. Like if you talk about Roma Dunze, whether or not he's going to be as thought of as good as neighbors, he's a ridiculous athlete at the position. And then you got DJ Moore. He's one of the hardest wide receivers to tackle in the league. And then you got two solid tight ends, one of them with the upside through the roof, and the other one just a really solid lunch pail guy that we were really excited about a couple years ago when he got paid, right? And then Luther Burden, right? It's like, come on, man. There's just so much. The defense is going to be like, and then your boy Caleb's got legs, right? He got more rushing yards last year than Bo Nix and Drake May. Obviously, Drake May didn't play every game. Bo Nix, that could, like, Caleb's could stress the defense. Like, the sky's the limit for what Chicago could be. We all want it to be like that. We've all been thinking and hoping and praying the last, 8-9 months since Ben Johnson took over. Man, that little bit of a drive like that last night was like, wow, it could be sick.
Yeah, no, that's I love it. Real quick, we got some couple of things here. Ryan Howard asks, he said, left my Superflex tight end premium draft startup with May, Goff, quarterback, BTJ, London, Tetz, Sutton, Golden as wide receivers, Caleb Johnson, Harvey's running back, and Njoku and Ingram as tight end. How'd I do? I mean, good. That's
I said good.
It's a fun start. It's a fun start. We got Cam here asking 103, having a rough time deciding between Chase, Daniels, and Hurts.
Chase.
Superflex. He said it's redraft.
Still Chase.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. I'm on the clock in the rookie mock, but I wanted to bring up, a lot of, again, we're talking a little bit of narratives. We're talking about who's spinning what where. The Luther Burden haters are going to town with, Zacchaeus being out there for the Bears, and you could just say you don't like Luther Burden. You don't have to keep perpetuating this silly narrative, because at the end of the day, you're probably going to end up looking pretty silly that you faded him because a professional football player came in and got a starting role on a professional offense over a rookie who missed a little bit of time, right? And the quote unquote starting role, right? And I think Zacchaeus, by all accounts and purposes, looking pretty good. But on all the other accounts and purposes, every time I've seen Ben Johnson turn around, he's heaping praise on Luther Burden from when this started off really rocky. You saw in that game last night when Luther got in there, tons of targets for him. And then on top of that, just getting in there, the willingness to get in there and block down on the goal line, right?
Oh, yeah.
Those are, as he's going to come in here and make him earn what he's going to get. And then all of a sudden, Luther Burden is just going to be out there. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a timeshare to start things, right? But it ain't going to be long until Luther Burden is out there doing things that Luther Burden does. So if there is any sort of dip in anybody's teams in Dynasty because of this, please go buy Luther Burden. That's all the PSA that I wanted to have there. What did you have, Big Co?
I might have said this 3-4 months ago, right? We as fantasy football players, dynasty or whatever, like Ben Johnson's job right now is to win game 1. Try to win game 2, try to win game 3. Whatever players, whatever combinations, whatever plays, whatever target shares, it's all to try to surround Jaden Daniels, my bad. It's all to surround Caleb, right? With the best of everything, the easiest Staples easy button that he can do all the way down the field. And I think that's why you saw a lot of 2 tight ends last night. Like the success rates of those formations, right? Like that's what works in today's NFL. And if, like you said, a professional wide receiver who's been around the block, Zacchaeus comes up and can play the slot, can probably play a little bit of every position out there and get it right and know exactly where he needs to be, when he needs to be there and be on time. That's what Ben Johnson's supposed to be doing right now, making it easy for Caleb, not being like, oh, these boys, they all love my early second round draft pick of Luther Burden. Nobody saw that coming. I took a tight end and then I took Luther Burden. You know that he doesn't care about that. Luther Burden, when it's time, it'll be sick and it'll be hard for that's just that much more stress on the defense. But right now, it's the least amount of stress possible for Caleb. That is the secret sauce for Ben Johnson right now. And so your point and takeaway of it was perfect. Buy any dip that you get out of Luther Burden, and you can only hope that Zacchaeus tears it up week 1. Dude, what is the defense supposed to do? Like, try to, use some good angles to keep Zacchaeus from getting the ball? We got Rome and DJ Moore and a couple of sick tight ends, and then we probably going to have some running backs that we know their names in week 1. You know what I mean? So, if Zacchaeus is the easy button in the offense because he's the 5th eligible as far as what the defense is worried about, right? And when the defense goes off and they're looking at the line of scrimmage and they're like, oh, man, we got this guy over there to look at. We got this guy over there to look at. We got that guy in the backfield. And there's Colson Loveland, that dude. And then there's Cole Kmet. He might hit me in the face if I don't watch out in a minute. And then Zacchaeus runs around with the ball and he scores a touchdown. Like, that's the best thing that could happen to your buying window for Luther Burden is Zacchaeus to crush it in week 1. We're going to overreact. We're going to react to the overreactions in week 1 with dynasty trades. Then it's going to be glorious. And Luther Burden might be on that list.
Yeah, there's too much good that's going on out there with him, and Zacchaeus looks also good. And all those to all the points that you just said, absolutely 100%. Sean Cunningham, I want to shout out to you. I could see that you're sending me some messages watching on YouTube from Patreon. If you want to come over to the YouTube side of things, I could probably respond to some of your questions, but I'm just seeing emails right now and it's hard for me to look at your comments on what you're doing. So I appreciate you. But I can't see him on the YouTube side here. So so don't sweat Zacchaeus here. Use it as an opportunity. Solid player, getting some run. But Luther's coming, man.
You know what else?
The old wire, Omar coming. Luther's coming. I promise you, Luther's coming.
But you could draft it. You could draft Zacchaeus in the last round of your best ball too.
Right.
We don't have to be stubborn about this.
No.
And if you got a deep bench starting lineup, if you got a 30-man league and Zacchaeus is on the waivers for some reason, and you got a deep bench starting lineup, start him week 1. If you just need a YOLO 4th flex and you can't find anybody with 8 points projected, if you're down and out, your team sucks.
Right.
Read the tea leaves and be ready. Luther coming.
There's so many different ways again that tide can also change as well. So, we've seen this a million times and I'm here for it. So, all right, let's keep it moving here. We got Jackson Dart looking very promising here. If you've been listening for any amount of time, I dislike Russell Wilson at a high propensity. I do not enjoy Russell Wilson at all. Jackson Dart also has not been my favorite through this process. I think Jackson Dart is, with the mobility, was awesome. The processing part of things, of kind of what they run and do in Ole Miss, I was unsure of, and I would like to see him sit for this whole year. I don't want to see the Giants put Jackson Dart in this year necessarily. right? I wouldn't mind seeing just Russ ride most of this year out and see where it goes. And then, hey, if you want to throw him in on the back half of the couple games on the back end of the year, that's fine. The Giants aren't winning anything this year, right?
Yeah.
Let's not put Dart in a bad situation right away. Let's see what the situation unfolds to look like, right? And unfortunately, you're putting Russell in a terrible situation because now everybody's seeing Jackson Dart. As soon as the Giants are losing, that's all anybody's going to say.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the backup more than the regular guy. And Dart's going to get a shot, and he should get a shot. Dart has looked really, really competent over these last 2 preseason games, right? So much so that I definitely need to move Dart up in the final rankings of who do I move him over? I'm not really sure yet because I still like all the wide receivers quite a bit there. You know, the Jaden Higgins and the Luther Burdens and the, Matthew Goldens of the world. Hard for me to move him above those guys, but in Superflex, maybe he has to move maybe he has to move above 1 or 2 of those guys.
Yeah, well, for sure. Like that. For me, I didn't want to overreact to the week 1 Jackson Dart, but then 2 weeks in a row of it, it's like, all right, of course, a lot was made, like you said, of the offense that he came out of in college and just the top tier X's and O's that went along with it. And can he do that? Right. And just like, all right, well, playing against the Bills, week 1 does well, goes against the Jets, week 2 preseason, week 3, whatever the weeks that we're calling it here. Right. Just what I liked was when he saw it, the ball was out fast and accurate.
Right.
And that is dangerous if you put together with a couple other traits that he's got, right? He's big, he's fast, he's tough enough. He doesn't want to slide if that hurts him
enough
in the
football, which I like.
Right. He's got some reps. He's, played a lot, wants to run. And one of the things that, in the offseason that I was hearing on the podcast from the guy that left ESPN that's doing it now, him and Mitch McShay was talking about one of the things that he and Mitch liked most about Jackson Dart was he's always running forward. You don't see him running backwards and running side to side too much in the pocket, this and that, running around behind a scrimmage trying to get in more trouble. Like as soon as something's not right, he was moving forward and trying to minimize losses and then make gains with his feet. And you saw that right away. And you saw him not slide, which may or may not be a problem for his length of playing and his ability to stay on the field. But yes, the quick decisions and the accuracy. It's one thing to see it and then throw it and hit a guy in the knees. It's one thing to see it and throw it and be a little bit high and your receiver tips it and now it's an interception. But man, those passes were on the money. And 2 weeks in a row with the rushing upside, I think we're really on to something.
Mm-hmm.
Could he be headed out in 3 weeks and now we all hate him? For sure. But it's almost, there was even some of the screen passes that didn't set up correctly, and some of the times he was in trouble. Like he just seemed Jaden Daniels-esque calm, like just getting the ball out. And if anybody's played real sports at all ever in their life, you know what I'm talking. It's like some people are caught, like basically the opposite of what Tyler Shuck looked like, and so just somebody's in his face, and instead of being like this guy's about to tackle me or I got to make a huge play, like just really change the good arm angle or just stayed calm and even the speed on his passes. Especially when he was in duress, people literally, grown man trying to kill him, and he's able to mentally figure out, I don't have to throw this rocket to this dude 7 yards away from me, right?
Right.
That's not very common for young passer, young quarterbacks.
Right.
So I was very impressed. As impressed as you should be for preseason. If this was 2 weeks into the NFL, like if this was 2 weeks in against real defenses and everybody's trying to kill you and not just trying to work on their own rotations and trying to get some, then we could be shooting to the moon a little bit faster. But yes, stock up Jackson Dart, and it's not just, oh, he connected on a long bomb that any third string quarterback could have hit because it was a good, because he threw it at the right time and the wide receiver ran underneath it. It's the right type of plays to get excited about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I will say Shuck getting some negative press today, which is fine, deservedly so. But he looked good when he was playing against the backups the week before, or decent when he's playing against the backups. And Dart's basically played against the backups a lot as far as
exactly
where we've been. So
preseason, baby.
And I'm giving Dart plenty of love. I just said I'm not trying to hate or anything. I'm just giving Shuck a little, like Rattler looked really good on the back, because he, almost the opposites of each other. When Rattler looked a little sus with the first team, and the week before, right?
Yep.
And then Shuck comes in and throws for 150. Now a lot of that goes to Tipton on that big pass last, 2 weeks ago against the Chargers.
But that's perfect context. That's perfect that you don't hear a lot of people remind, hey, yes, last week Rattler played a little bit better defense. He didn't look great. Shuck gets the twos. He looks a little better. And the deep, I mean, they're splitting up the wide receivers,
Right.
They had, two guys, they're two of the top 4 pass catchers. This quarterback gets this 2, this quarterback gets this 2, like nothing is on an even playing field for anybody out there in preseason right now.
Right.
You can only judge the judgeable things. If we just got to keep moving forward and trying to pick the stuff that we can pick up.
Right. Exactly. And everything is, everything is a bit of an overreaction now at this point, just in the way we live our lives and consume shit. And so, preseason is always important, but it's also important to not not move guys up 3 tiers. Jacoby Krosky-Merritt might be the only guy right now that should be tear jumping that much, because there's a whole bunch of other things also taking place. Right.
Yeah.
And so I just, we're in here having a good time talking about what we're seeing and what we're liking. And I'll just go back to Caleb. Like, it's not about what Caleb did or didn't do. It's just, to me, it's just how the calm confidence. And I read one of Sean's comments and he was saying, well, he was always good in structure. No, Sean, that's not what people have been saying about him. It's the out of structure that he was always good at. It's the in structure that everybody was concerned about. Can he play in rhythm in time? So I think you got that backwards from at least everything I've heard and seen about him. So that's kind of I like to see that calmness and that decisiveness and those things. And yes, it's scripted, but that's what I'm trying to take away from, good observations with Dart, right? All the things you said, hey, accuracy, see it, hit it, right? And the legs on display. So he's just checking right now. I just want you to check the boxes of the priors that I already had on you. And not be like, that was a little questionable. Might need to let me see if I could see some things here. So there's been a few Olli Gordon questions. I see your question there. We had him a little further down the show sheet here, but we'll bring him up. Olli Gordon at 3.9 in a super flex rookie draft. Is it a reach? Who's to say in the 3rd round? Take your guys, right? He's a 2,000-yard rusher. I feel like he was the Braylon Allen of this cycle. And for some good reasons, right? Mm-hmm. There were some times where you were like, he's a little bit of a runway runner. But he's certainly been better than Jalen Wright has. And he certainly seems to be playing himself into a larger role, especially the role that it seems that they have planned out for the second guy, right? He seems to kind of have, like, I don't know that Jalen Wright's made for the role that they seemingly want the next guy to play. And is Jalen Wright dead? I don't think so, but I think Olli Gordon is inching closer and closer to having a much bigger role than Jalen Wright is, at least right now. And now if something happened to Achane, maybe that's what Achane is doing. Maybe that's closer to what we would want to see Wright do, right? And not really what I want to see Olli Gordon do, right? So, what are these roles? And sure, at 309, I don't know who's there and who you have the options of picking around, Jerry. That's a big play there. Who's available?
Sure.
But no, I don't think 309 is a reach at this point. He was a a late 4th round pick, and now he's gone out there. He's shown some good life with albeit backups late in games. But again, I think the role that is open and available in Miami almost fits what Olli Gordon does a little better.
Yeah, and they need something, right? I mean, you had Tyreek Hill come out and say, hey, we need Jalen Wright on the goal line. Jalen Wright gets 3 carries in a row at the goal line, and the offensive line gets crushed.
Right. Again, yes, I pointed that out last week. Like, nobody would have fucking ran anything on those runs.
Yeah. And so they have a lot of issues in Miami, apparently.
First coach fired for sure.
Right. Like these might be systemic issues that no running back can fix at this point. Obviously, for fantasy purposes, Achane can score in bunches, and the offense can be not doing much and still get Achane the ball. PPR wise, he's so fast, it's 7 yards a carry kind of situation. Like, he can score from anywhere and score in bunches, but he's got an injury, and let's just say he misses week 1. Olli Gordon could come out there and look good, but at the same time, the whole team could just come out there and get smashed. Now, I don't think that's going to happen as long as Tua's healthy.
Yeah,
I think that
they can run an offense.
I think Mike can get his offense together as long as Tua's healthy. I don't think they're going to be an embarrassment. I don't think that I think I don't think there's enough wheels on the bus that could fall off fast enough if Tua was not healthy to save Mike's job more than a week or 2. Yeah. Right. I think there might not be another coach in the NFL right now saving their job as early and often as Tua is going to save Mike. For some reason, Mike went from this new innovator 3 years ago and the best new running game on the block. And, all the stories and sideline cameras and all this of all his clothes and his way X at this podium and his answers to the, all that was fun and fresh. But if you see, like, he's the opposite of Mike Vrabel, right? And you see a team come out and play as excited as the Patriots do now versus what they did last year. And you see a team like Miami, the starting wide receiver, the best wide receiver named Tua, is questioning the goal line back situation in the press. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it feels like this thing is so off kilter in Miami.
Absolutely. Man. That works. That works until you start losing. And then it doesn't work. And now you have to switch the vibe up and try to hold people accountable. And you can't, have to be a little bit tougher and right.
You can't flip that switch. You can't come in there and say, hey, we got a new backbone. We got a new, I'm a different guy than I was the last 2 years. That's not how it works. You're either you are who you are. And you see a guy like my boy Campbell go in there and completely, now he did tandem him and Holt, like everything about what the Lions have done has been more than just the head coach. But Vrabel comes in there and you could just see it. You can see it right away with the Patriots. And that's Miami's going to go after some thick-faced coach next, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's like a linebacker, right? There's just no chance they're going.
Yeah, this is going to be opposite of what was there, right? I agree with you there. And then San Francisco is going to have Saleh and Mike McDaniel back over there in 2026.
Miami's they're gonna hire Saleh.
Ugh, no.
And they're gonna fire Mike.
How high are you reaching for Bill in redraft? So we've talked about Bill a little bit already, but I got some names pulled up here. Would you rather have Jordan Mason or Jacoby Krosky-Merritt? That's a 9th round right there. So that was just kind of getting us in the door.
That's a good one. I mean, I know in redraft for me, like I at that point it's like sky's the limit. I'd probably go Bill just in case.
Yeah, right? once you get past the known commodities, right? Once you're past, Brian Robinson was going 708. So there you go. But Tony Pollard's at 704, and I would say he's one of the last known guys to be
definitely
able to
take Tony Pollard.
Right. And then you got ETN and Tracy coming in at 709 and 710, right? And I'm just looking at the running backs right now, right? Both of those guys I might trust a little more than Krosky Merritt at this point, but the role is tentative for both of those guys. So now it starts to creep into there, and now 807 is Jaylen Warren.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we talk like Dynasty. I was talking about Eckler versus what you're going to get right now. Like, I think that Bill could come in here, Merritt in redraft. If you get it wrong, who cares? Like, especially in that,
exactly.
like,
right. That's kind of my point.
And Tank Bigsby, Tootin, like that's 3 people to really compete with for the Jaguars points, which are going to be, it's going to be a very productive backfield. And I think they're all going to score points. And when the NFL happens, whichever one of them's the healthiest, whichever one stays the healthiest, whichever one like doesn't fumble the most, is could rise to the top. But I think for Washington, if it's just him versus Eckler, if Eckler stays healthy, Eckler is a really good running back and a quarterback friendly running back and a
veteran,
a vet, like the kind of guy that helps you win games, right? And so I think it's just, but if you pictured it with Eckler hurt, then it's a great situation. And if he's physically dominant, then I want to take a chance on him in redraft, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of my point, is like when you're getting away from the for sure locked in kind of ones, and then that Tracy ETN area kind of comes in, and then now, all right, Javonte Williams, it's a maybe. Najee Harris,
Merritt.
we don't know how healthy he is. Jaylen Warren, Scatabo,
Merritt.
It's right. And so, Jordan Mason, I think, is undervalued a little bit, and I kind of really like Jordan Mason. So that's a little bit of a tough one for me, but I think what he has could be similar to where Merritt is, right? As far as, hey, we got Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones at this point is probably a little better than Austin Eckler, but similar in how they could be used and deployed. And then Krosky Merritt comes in and does the kind of things that Jordan Mason does for the Vikings this year, right? So, so I don't know. It's interesting. So, that's kind of where I'm starting to slot in Bill Merritt here. Once we're out of the range of,
I could get right behind Pollard there. I could if you feel like you need to be the guy wanting to take that chance, I could right behind Pollard is fine. I mean,
it all depends on what you need, right? Because there's Debo here, there's Jacoby Myers here, there's Pearsall here, there's Ingram here, all those guys behind Pollard, right? So what do you need? What are you picking? How'd the rest of your draft go, right? But we're in the neighborhood, so I like it. All right, let's keep it moving here. Should I do? Parker Bledsoe asks, should I do this? I get Amon-Ra and T for Rice and Neighbors.
Big Co says keep who you got. I'm keeping Rice and Neighbors over St. Brown and T. Higgins.
Yeah, obviously, I'm assuming this is Dynasty. You just got to ride out the Rice. If it's redraft, then take the other two.
Of course.
If it's Dynasty, then ride out the train with Rice. You got the WR1 for Kansas City for years to come, and going to be a volume monster. And Neighbors is, the Dynasty wide receiver 4 right now,
Yeah.
And Amon-Ra is great, and I think T's good too. But I like the combo there. Thoughts on Taj Brooks so far? We're not watching the game. I saw a couple carries. I mean, I'm down because he's one injury away. I don't even really need to know that much about him. I know that Texas Tech, he was a solid running back. And now he's second in line behind Chase Brown, who is going to slaughter as long as he's healthy. So, that's kind of how I feel about Taj Brooks. So, let's jump into the. Go ahead.
I think you should feel just like that. I think it's a great offense that is a Chase Brown injury away. I mean, why wouldn't you be? You should be high on Taj Brooks from a Dynasty running back handcuffs situation.
Yeah. All right. Watch that Jags game. Our Olli Gordon and Brooks are the Bucky Irving picks of this year. I guess potentially. I mean, Brooks maybe more than Olli Gordon because of, just like Big Co mentioned, the offense. That's what really helps Bucky, right? That offensive line is really good. The system around him was good, right? All those things all play components in there. A lot would have to happen for Olli Gordon to be, there is no good offensive line coming through that door. But Brooks certainly could be interesting there. So let's jump into the Jaguars. Watched a little bit of that Jags game yesterday. Watch the Trevor drives, right? And, the quick passing game seems promising. We're seeing the screens, the Cohen screens, the quick stuff. I think that's great for Jacksonville. Let's get the ball out of T-Law's hands. Let's get it into the playmakers. I think we're looking at a nice T-Law year this year. I think it's keep it simple, stupid here. And
yeah.
Well, now you did
Come
see
on now.
You did see a one. Trevor does have some, blonde moments. Just bonehead thing. And some of it's not even like yesterday in that game, he trips over the center, steps on him, and he's trying to hand the ball, and he's just trying to get rid. It's a fumble, and like, wow. Sometimes it's just
all right. Even the announcers like, you gotta just tuck it, man. You gotta tuck it. How many times do we see the quarterback falling down, get that handoff secured to the running back, and we're like, what a heads up play by the quarterback, man. He really
You're playing the results. You're playing the results there.
Come on, man. Don't bury him like that after it happened. Like, we're always like, man, that quarterback acted so good under pressure. This offensive lineman steps on it. We see his bone shatter. We see his leg break in half, and he still gets the handoff on one leg. It looked bad after it happened. He kind of shot put it at Tank Bigsby. And of course, it's the running back is Tank Bigsby to get a fumble in that scenario.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Of course, it's not. It would never have been Tootin.
No, and then I'm giving that a big nothing burger. I will say one thing that came away from there. The only thing clear about the Jags backfield is nothing is clear. This is going to be a timeshare between ETN and Tank Bigsby, and that's okay. Both of them, cost is built in to having a timeshare with each other. And if we think Liam Cohen can turn this offense around, like we just kind of a little bit of alluded to, of kind of keeping it simple, stupid, let's do some quick stuff. Let's get the run game. We've patched up the offensive line a little bit. Hopefully we can take a step forward, right? And let's let the two different style running backs come in here and do different things for us, right? Let's operate well. Bucky was really efficient last year, but when we look back at usages, both of those backs were on the field, right?
Yep.
And that's what we're going to get here. And some games, one guy's going to be better than the other. But unless one of them completely makes stupid mistakes and keeps fumbling balls away and is just so inefficient that they can't handle it, those are probably going to be their two guys for the season. And both of them are probably going to be, at cost, are productive players for your dynasty team.
Bro, at cost? Yes, you got to have one of them. You got to get one of them on your team. I've been kind of hanging around this situation because I got a whole lot of Tank Bigsby's on my team. And so I haven't really, had a whole lot to say because my stock, my Tank Big, as the cool kids say now, my Bigsby bags are packed from, second round of rookie drafts. If you can't watch that game right there and you need us to tell you can't watch it and be like, this could be a highly productive offense for fantasy football points for multiple running backs. And I just said it earlier, like as soon as when the NFL is going to happen and one of them is going to get hurt, we got three of them right now. And I think week one, it'll be more, I think it'll be a lot less Tootin and a lot more of the veterans. One of them, might get hurt. Tootin might get hurt. Who knows? Eventually it'll be down to two. And if one of them has fumbling problems or this or that, there's so many fantasy points that could go around in a quick hitting, get the ball out fast, screen game offense. The beauty of it is you don't screen it to running backs every time or just wide receivers every time. But like the way they set this thing up, it's running back, wide receiver, tight end. You don't know who's getting the screens, and you got Brian Thomas that could go downfield. You got to be able to defend that, and there's so much that can Trevor can run, and
right. Bigsby and
apparently
Strange
Strange is a threat. If Brenton Strange was the only player on offense that was a threat out there, he's probably not much of a threat. But if you got Brian Thomas Jr. and you got
you're gonna have Travis Hunter in there.
You got Travis
chopping
Hunter
it up here and there. I think Parker Washington's looked good. Diami Brown was fine for them boys in Washington last year.
I'm about to get on my Diami Brown. Like if you're in a startup or you're in a rookie draft and you put some real good stock in Travis Hunter, you should be getting the Diami Brown and the Parker Washington.
Yeah,
because Parker's absolutely free, and Diami Brown is almost as free as it gets before he's actually free on waivers, right?
Yeah.
Diami Brown's almost really, really good. He's electric. He's electric with the ball in his hands. And there's all it takes is an injury. And now all of a sudden he's next up. They got that man for cheap before they picked up. He's on a bunch of my benches. And I was excited. I was really excited when he went to the Jags. I was like, oh, wow, he's going to get out there. And their defense is going to be having 3 guys on Brian Thomas all game. And then obviously they take Travis Hunter. And I'm like, definitely pushes him down the totem pole a decent amount because now we got a generational talent out there. So, but it takes one injury, and Diami Brown could be with Liam Cohen drawing up the X's and O's. Brown's a playmaker.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely can
at cost
affect a game, especially on some more vertical deep stuff there. Kyle asks, he's got Rice, Worthy, Pollard, Pickens, Irving, and Myers. I have to choose between Derrick Henry and Josh Allen for my franchise player.
I got Rice, Worthy, Pollard, Pickens, Irving, and Myers. I have to choose between Derrick Henry and Josh Allen. I don't know exactly what you're telling me there. You got to pick between Derrick Henry and Josh Allen. That's an easy one. Just Josh Allen. I don't even know how franchise player works.
I'm going to assume it's super flex if you're saying you're keeping Josh Allen. So
it doesn't matter. I'm keeping Josh Allen over Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I guess Derrick Henry's taken in redraft before Josh Allen, but still, if whatever the franchise player means.
Is it like a light keeper? Is it what's the parameters here is a little different. Rashee Rice, Pearsall, and Kamara for Marvin Harrison. Is that too much? And then he comes back and said, how far off is it? He said he'd add a 26-second.
Well, that's because I told him to keep Rice and Pearsall. I'm not trading you Rice. I'm not giving you Rice and Pearsall for Harrison. And the Kamara's, I just left that out. That's fantastic. I'm not giving those 3 guys for Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. There you go. Live on the show. He's already said he said he'd add a 26-second.
Yeah,
because we turned him down. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Evening up the trade live on air. Love it.
You like that more then?
No, I still don't want to do it. I'm just saying it's getting better. One of the best things you can do in a trade offer, in a trade negotiation, is just say no. Just see if the price goes up, right?
Yeah.
Just see.
The other guy said it's a keeper. He has to give up Henry or Allen. Is it super flex?
Yeah. I guess if it's just 1 year, how does the keeper work? Can you just keep on keeping them? I mean,
typically you can. It just, what's the round or whatever? What's the stipulations? All right, we got Ravi Varma here. I'm assuming
Ravi?
I don't know if it's the Ravi that we know or not. And if it is, hello. If it's not, I don't think his name is spelled that way. I think it was a VE.
It was a VA.
Yeah. But what's up, man? Quick question. He's got a 12-team, full point PPR. He has Purdy, Bijan, Pollard, London, Tyreek, Kittle, Evans, Jacoby, Pearsall. Should I keep the 2 Falcons, or do you recommend any other moves? I feel like there's a lot of keeper questions coming at us. Keep the 2 Falcons, Bijan and London. Out of all those guys, that's probably who I'm keeping.
100%.
Yeah.
If that list of name is just I need 2 keepers, you got a 1st round pick and a 2nd round pick in Bijan and London.
Yeah. All right. We'll throw another trade question in here. We got Blake Taylor. He says, Just traded away Mike Evans for 2 2s and a third, 12-team, 1 quarterback rebuild. You got good value then at that point for Mike Evans. Two 2s and a 3 and 1 QB, 12-team. You know?
2 years ago when he was 30 years old, we couldn't get a second round pick for him.
Yeah. Yep. So he says one is the Dynasty Ultimate Keeper and one is your Dynasty Ultimate Keeper. I don't know what that is. So
me neither.
I'm not in that. I don't know.
I'm not in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kyle. I still don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's redraft, not a keeper for Ravi there. And so Ravi. So I guess I'm not really understanding the question. Yeah, I mean, Bijan and London are your best 2 players for the most part. So that's those.
Yeah, he said, should I keep 2 Falcons? Do you recommend it? Yes. Out of the players that you gave us, Ravi, Bijan and Drake London are the best 2 options you gave us.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this thing up here. You got a couple more things on here. Ao Manor and Gunnar Helm. Ao Manor's got to move up the rankings for tomorrow's redraft show or rookie ranking show. Ao Manor has been out there looking good. I feel like he's got to move up some spots. So got to give some love to Ao Manor. Gunnar Helm's probably more of a long-term play. I don't know what the play to Chig is this year, but he looks good out there too. So both of those guys with their players, with Cam Ward at the helm, could be very interesting kind of future-wise for that team. There's not a whole lot of targets out there that we're excited about outside of Calvin Ridley and maybe Chig. But I've been impressed with both of those guys throughout this entire offseason process. Always liked Ao Manor enough, but wasn't like over the moon about him. But he's definitely been surging up here for me. He looks like he's out there moving around extremely well and a very big target.
And the other way to play it is just if you pay attention and you're like, all right, well, outside of, one stud aging veteran wide receiver, the other wide receiver is an aging veteran, used to be a stud, right? Mm-hmm. So now we're down to Tyler Lockett, who's, who knows how long he's going to be on the team? 1 year, right? So
he might not make it through the year. He might catch a good deal on some commercial real estate and be
that's what I'm saying. He's already practicing real estate agent. So you like Cam Ward comes in there, and of course they're building around him for the future every draft cycle now. But why not grab, especially Gunnar Helm? Like he's so cheap. Like Alec Ao Manor's sometimes in the late second round, sometimes he's late third round. He's polarizing in a rookie draft.
Yeah. So that last guy that asked about 309 for Olli Gordon, if Ao Manor's there, I'm taking Ao Manor, right? And
yeah. So, well, like that's So Ao Manor's all like he's literally. I've seen him go in the mid second round. I've seen him go late third, right? So he's all over the place, and he's definitely somebody to be paying attention to for future growth with the quarterback.
Of course. All right. You got a few more things on this sheet. You want to run through them real quick, or you want to tap it out?
I mean, just I could hit one thing real quick. Like we got one series with the Seattle Seahawks offensive Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
It's a run, offensive line looking a little better. It's preseason, right? Who cares? We don't really, but then it's a play action left to a daggone fullback, a counter fullback play action pass to the left. It's just stretching the defense out. And then you got a play action, just a play action to the right, tight end leaks out to the right. And then you got, so you got Arroyo looking huge, play action, tight end leak to the right, play action, fullback to the left, run up the middle, touchdown, and Sam hits a couple balls here. Like it just shows you the identity and the offense and the way they want to run it. And we don't need to talk about how well the running game, like a 10-yard run, 15-yard run or whatever for the touchdown. It's the fact because it's against the twos, but it's what they showed how they're going to set it up. It's like, hey, we know that Sam, like that's literally like, did they run to set up? Did the play action set up the pass or did the play action set up the run? Like, are they run? You don't even know. It's like you know that Sam Darnold can hit a play action and chuck that ball 60 yards accurately. He did it all year last year. We know he can do that. Like, and now he's got a better running game, not a better maybe not a better offensive line, but they look, you would think cohesively they can be working better than they did. Seattle's offensive line was horrible last year.
Right.
And on paper, they walk into this season on paper, not great.
Yeah, they're the lowest win total in the division, 7.5. We just actually kind of talked about this last night on Patreon. We did a little NFC West chat. And the thing is like when you look at the Niners, and I'm using the Niners as an example because I feel like the Seattle, what they're going to do on offense is a big conglomerate of what San Fran, Kubiak, and Shanahan have been, long time at each other's family reunions, graduations. They're tied together. They meddle a lot, right? So when you look at San Francisco's offensive line, it's never the best offensive line, but because of how they scheme, their offensive line just gets an automatic boost, and they're usually really high in the run game and the pass game as far as pass block and run block grades, right? But it's the scheme. It's how they design it. So you don't have to have just the best O-line in the game. It's obviously a bonus to be the Eagles, right?
Of course.
And have just a man-moving line. But when you focus resources a little bit elsewhere, and then you have a good run game design, and then everything builds off of that, and now your explosives and those other plays that kind of come off of that, where hey, maybe it's not the most volume, but the splash plays like Brandon Ayuk, I feel like, and we've talked about this a little bit, like the JSN like combination, and I'm going to use Chris Olave and Brandon Ayuk kind of combination platter of how I see JSN kind of being this year from last year with Kubiak in New Orleans, and this year. And San Fran using Ayuk and being just very efficient, right? The pass game volume isn't going to be extremely high for either one of those teams, San Fran or Seattle typically. But, you can almost count on, the efficiency of it because of how they're going to tie all of this together, right? That's where we're going to have the bigger sets. We're going to see a lot of 12. We're going to see a fullback in there, right? We're going to see him getting some action here and there just to keep everybody fucking honest, right?
Yeah.
We just, we want to slam this guy up the middle. You're going to get a Texas route from a big old fullback. You're going to see use check up the sideline. You're going to see their fullback in action here and there, right? So I think Seattle is way undervalued right now. Way undervalued. Just as a football team as a whole, right? 7.5 wins seems low. That defense was top 5 in a lot of markers by the end of last season.
Yeah, this is gonna week 1, dude. There's so many much watch TV situations about to happen. It's getting close, brother.
Yeah. So unfortunately, week 1, Sam Darnold does have to go see San Fran. So that might not be the best look for Darnold week 1. Somebody who's been in the building and showered with all them boys. They know that weird tattoo he has on his inner thigh.
They know how skinny it is.
Yeah. But hey, guys, we appreciate you. We'll be doing, me and Big Co will be live Mondays after football starts, doing a straight up football show from 11 a.m. to whenever we're done. So just kind of like a lot of the stuff we just did, I'm sure we'll tie some Dynasty stuff to it. But for the most part, we're going to just be talking football. Like sports radio style, old school football stuff of a little different of what we do. But really, at the end of the day, it's exactly what we do on here. Like we come on here and we talk football and then we relate it to Dynasty, which is, I think, very useful in the edge. And I think not enough podcasters out there do that. So we want to just go full on football show with one of the things we bring you, and we're going to be live on air doing it. So, week 1, we hope we see all of you guys. Obviously, it'll be 11 a.m., so it's kind of a weird time, but we're going to be doing it week in, week out, and we'll be available on podcasts afterwards. So we're excited to do that and just have a little bit more fun, kind of sports radio-esque show.
Yeah, it's going to be different for me to not be, rocking one of my tangents and then like hold back from breaking into my how it sets up for a Dynasty trade. Because that's not what it's about. So,
right. Well, the show that night will be exactly that, right?
Exactly. That's the point. Like I'm gonna be mid sentence in case he's gonna be like, "No, Bo, save that for tonight." Keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's how this is going to work.
So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys really soon. If you haven't checked out the Redraft channel, make sure you go check that out. We got plenty of more Dynasty stuff before the season wraps up. We got some good Redraft stuff coming your way as well. We're going to have the model fella, Joseph, back on and talk about the projections for Redraft stuff. So that's going to be an episode this week that'll drop at the beginning of next week. So we're going to be kind of looking at the projection side of the players and fades and non-fades. And I've seen the list already, and you guys are gonna be super mad. So it kind of made me upset on a couple of them. So make sure you tune into that. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you guys. Blake Taylor says, just wanted to say, appreciate you guys. Y'all and Chev, my favorite Dynasty channels on YouTube out there. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Mr. Blue, nice check-in late. Appreciate all the questions. If we didn't get to you, I'm sorry. But again, you guys have been wonderful all off season, and we're excited to be, heading in the direction of playing actual football. So we'll see you next time.
Here, baby.
Peace.